Computer lag. I actually prefer broadcasting from here. I do.
Yeah.
This is the makeup edition of Amigos After Dark. I am TJ. That is Adam. And of course, we're waiting on Chris, as usual. Thank you, everyone who is tuning in tonight and joining us. I'm going to address first tonight why we had to end so abruptly and what caused us, what was going on. Why did I have to jump out of the show and we had to end it so quickly last night? And we were only on for 25, 30 minutes?
Yeah, 25 to 35 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't very long. All right, so without getting into any names, the family emergency that I had last night is I was contacted by Illinois family members that one of my uncles is in the hospital. And the circumstances around this particular hospitalization are not very promising because this particular uncle was diagnosed as of yesterday with a very aggressive form of lung cancer. And unfortunately, there was no get it, early or on time or anything this time. It was more along the lines of they got it too late.
Yeah.
The cancer has metastasized. It has made its way into his lymph nodes. It is inoperable. And instead of having months or maybe years, like I've got with Rage or Marvin, we are actually more like down to days.
Shit.
The initial, at least my initial understanding of it is 2 to 12 days.
Man.
Yeah. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Steve. Glad to hear that he's not a family member of mine. Thank you, Steve.
But yet he'd be more than happy to feel your hands.
Yeah, well, I mean, right now he's just that I don't know whether I should be insulted at that statement or not, because that's actually kind of a kick in the teeth. Yeah, my family's going through a hard time right now. I mean,
it's not just your family. I mean, some of your friends,
yeah,
and stuff. Our families, it's just all converging, though. It's rough everywhere.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, hey Steve, I got some news for you. It's also my friends, and you're my friend. So make the comments about my family all you want to, but there you go.
Yeah, beware of milk dud cancer.
Right. Might get milk dud cancer. There you go. No, I mean, I got to be honest. Yeah, my family is taking a very emotional battering right now.
Yeah.
And there's not much we can do about it. I mean, I love that my friends are sitting here making fun of my family for it. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, this kind of hit us all abruptly, and I wanted to make sure that I knew where my limits were at before I said anything, and that was part of what that phone call was. So, yeah, again, without going into any names, without, my cousins have asked that, this is not on social media, that it does not go in it, no names are broadcast. They really want their privacy at this point, which is understandable, and I can appreciate where they're at. This was actually kind of a blindside to us a lot of us, matter of fact, I saw this particular uncle when I was back in Illinois, and this was an unexpected twist that, because he looked like he was just fine then. And yeah, now the cancer it's so far. Why am I hearing myself again? Okay, that's done. The cancer is so far spread and metastasized and everything at this point to hear 2 to 12 days is, yeah, that was kind of a shock.
Yeah, definitely.
For Rage?
No, for one of my uncles.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry to hear that, brother.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Steve's sitting here making fun of my family at this point, going, I'm glad I'm not related to you because I know I would die. You know.
We just had to remind him that's also TJ's friends. And we're all in the field.
Yeah, I had to remind him that 3 of my closer friends are also involved in that nightmare, because you've got my grandpa, you've got my dad's not doing hot, now this uncle of mine, then you got Rage, you got Marvin, and you've got another very close friend of mine that are all in that same boat. So, nah.
And the circle only gets wider if you include like family members of friends.
Yeah, I mean it's been insane. Yeah, I'm like I said, this is one of them cases where, and I apologize last night for how abruptly we had to end the show, because we were getting on a good roll. And to get that call and knowing what it was about, knowing I had to take it then, there was no way around it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, my family is just kind of under the gun with this. It was not expected. Of course, my cousins asking for their privacy and for, them to not be harassed over this, because it's not an easy situation for them. This is their dad. Yeah. And, and their dad, my uncle, he is a relative. And to see that this cancer went so long without any of us really realizing it was there, and him being of that old generation, being stubborn and not going to a doctor. I think he still believed that he could go, oh, it's just a little cancer, cut it off the finger and eat it, and it'd be dead. And that's not the case. I mean, that's really not the case with cancer. I'm sorry. Cancer is it's an evil substance. I've seen it take too many people. I'm watching it happen now with Rage. Of course, my uncle now, and we're seeing the final stages with my uncle and how bad that is. And it's just, I don't find cancer funny. And anyone who is going to make fun of or poke fun at a cancer patient, I don't find that funny either.
It's like the only way you can have fun at it is if the person with cancer initiates it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's it. If you just try and do it to cheer him up, just don't.
Well, I mean, like Rage, he said he was all excited that he was losing weight, and he said it was coming from the cancer diet. Hey, Chris, you got something on your mind? What's up?
So I took my wife to the doctor today, and she's checking out, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go downstairs and smoke a cigarette and wait for you. Okay.
I swear to God, if you tell me she has cancer, I'm just going to end the show now and go kill myself.
No. I'm rushing towards the elevator because some little old lady just got on it, and I yell out, hold on, wait for the cripple, here I come. And the lady turning, you can't say that. You're making fun of people. I said, no, I'm not. making fun of myself, and I'll do that all day long. I didn't say Joe Schmo in the corner's a cripple. I said I'm a cripple, and we're having fun with it.
Well, yeah, right? Can't blame you with it. I mean, yeah.
You can't say that. Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Yes, I can. And I did. Oh, my God. Yeah. So, so I don't, I have stage 4 psoriasis. It's spread to such a point that I've also got psoriatic arthritis with it. Cold days suck. I cannot.
This is so good for you.
Dude, I cannot move in the cold. I've got to force myself to move around. It hurts. Like my feet will feel like they're on fire, whatever I'm stepping on. Everything hurts. There's nothing. And I've got I do have a medication that I take for it, but it fucking sucks. And there's
tell me about it.
He is.
Dude, I am.
People always laugh at me because I like to take really long baths. But personally, that's like a heating pad that I float in.
See, I'm glad I live down here. Because if I said anything about taking a bath and I was within a certain amount of miles or feet of Steve's place, I would be afraid he'd break down the door like the Kool-Aid man going, I'm here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me join you. But no.
But I swear I got my hot water heater cranked to the max. I'll fill up the bathtub and then I toss in an engine block heater.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
When I say I lay in a very hot bath, I'm talking a very 106 degree water.
There you go. And that'll do it too.
Yeah.
And you know something? I got home today and I said, I'm going for a ride on the bike because my new tail light came in and I put it on, fired up the bike, went for a ride around. And this always fucking happens. As I'm getting ready to pull into the driveway, I'm downshifting. All of a sudden, my clutch cable snaps.
Ah!
You are the king of snapping cables. I swear to God. There's always something happening with your bike.
Well, it's a Harley, so you answer that. There's the answer.
When my bike goes down, and it's a Harley, it goes down because I need to do maintenance.
Let me rephrase. It's an older Harley. The kind where after I'm done riding, if there ain't a big spot of oil in my driveway the next day, something ain't right with the bike.
Well, again, okay. My uncle's 77. The shovelhead, when it goes down for maintenance.
Well, also remember this bike sat for a few years. I picked it up. All I did was flush out the fluids and put new fluids in, and I've been riding it ever since.
But yours keeps going down for what the hell? I mean, what next? Are you going to try to make the turn into the driveway and the front wheel's going to come out of the forks and go rolling up the yard?
Do not fucking jinx me, motherfucker.
Just listen, all this talk going down, and I'm just wondering where Julie's at. It's like, God damn.
I mean, I ain't laid it down yet, but I came close one day.
Oh, my God.
My dumb ass thought I could beat a storm.
Well, I've ridden mine through a couple of storms now, and it's just like, okay, it's right.
My back tire is so bald, I'm surprised I can actually get grip going in down the road.
Yeah, it happens.
Like
It
the one day I
happens.
thought I could beat the storm, and I went to turn around the corner, and I just felt that back tire keep sliding. I said, "Nope, not today, fucker."
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing is we're still young enough to have the reflexes to do that.
Right?
It's a lot easier to do that on a Softail than it is a full dresser or a Sportster.
Well, and that's the funny thing about my bike is, I mean, it's half Sportster, half Softail.
Oh, it's Frankenbike.
Yeah, pretty much. My
It's a
fenders,
sports
my
bike.
gas tank, my seat,
The
all off
soft
a Softail. My engine is the Sportster engine. The front of the frame is Sportster. The rear of the frame is Softail.
Now, how the hell does
It's a Frankenstein bike.
It's a Franken bike. My brother took the rear end, the rear sway off a Softail and fabricated
swing
it
arm.
onto the Sportster.
So he's got the Softail swing arm on it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then apparently my dad found a bunch more parts for me. I said, "Well, find the fucking title."
Yeah, right? I'm tired of riding it around illegal.
Yeah. So I gotta next time I go up to Iowa, I gotta get a set of air shocks with the compressor, another rear end, a coffin style gas tank,
Oh, no shit.
and another windshield.
But Adam, what the hell are you? You're not.
I'm not what?
You're not getting orally satisfied right now, are you? Oh.
No, I'm shoving black nuts into my mouth. Okay.
Ah.
Okay, he is not getting oral gratification. He is giving oral gratification. So how's it feel to have a mouth full of big black nuts?
Sorry, I have to rinse all that nut matter out of my mouth.
Oh, wow.
I don't know personally, but I've heard whiskey helps a little.
Might help you forget.
Yeah, right?
Oh, no, there ain't enough alcohol. I swear there ain't enough alcohol in the world to ever forget something like that.
You're making it sound like you've been there before.
I have not. And
Okay.
and my wife
It's hard
always
to say
tries
whether
to
or not
say,
you would or not.
well, I got friends and I've heard from experience. And my wife, she always tries to say, everyone has their price, blah, blah, blah. You'd suck a dick for $1 million. No, I wouldn't. Because I can eat cake every day of my life. No one calls you a cake eater, but you suck one dick and you're a cocksucker for life.
All right, cake eater.
Not wrong.
Hey, I finally got called a cake eater. I like cake.
Dude, I watched the Mighty Ducks, all right? Fuck you.
I like cake. Why does everyone call it a pie hole? Why can't it be a cake hole? I like cake.
I like pie. All right. So I'm going to, Adam and I were discussing this last night. I'm going to revisit a news story that we were discussing that now that I have it right here on the computer and I can read it. And it's something that Chris knows a little bit about at the same time. So we're going to, and Steve, luckily Steve being in the chat room, he is an authority on part of what we're going to discuss tonight.
All right, now I'm scared. Hold on. Let me hit some weed first.
Oh, boy. So we all know about the Mr. McMahon docuseries and, of course, what has happened to Vince McMahon since, obviously, very much from his own creation. Vince did this to himself.
Yeah.
Vince is an asshole.
Well, yeah, and it was funny in the docuseries, right? There were like two people that said, "Oh no, Vince McMahon and the character Mr. McMahon, they are two different people. They're way on the opposite end." Everybody else, like, they're pretty damn close.
Okay, so everyone who creates a character for their form of entertainment, my character, Chronic Chris, there is some truth to him.
Yeah, right. I mean, the nice thing is we all know that the old show had all of us playing a lot of characters, and the thing I like about this is we pulled the curtain back and said, no, now we're going to give you a glimpse into who we really are. And that's been kind of the premise around Amigos and everything ever since. But to the credit of this news story, this is insane. The legal team for Janelle Grant, who filed the lawsuit against Vince McMahon for sex trafficking and forcing her into giving sexually explicit favors, has now branched off. And there has been a legal filing filed against Dr. Carlin Culker, a wellness doctor who allegedly treated WWE wrestlers and employees at Peak Wellness, the medical clinic that's owned by Dr. Culker. According to the lawsuit, he was a key figure in the sex trafficking lawsuit against McMahon, and the allegations, which, of course, those allegations led to the downfall of Vince McMahon.
Now, this stuff, this sex trafficking and all this stuff,
yes,
has been going around in Hollywood since the beginning of Hollywood. It's been happening since the beginning of time.
Right.
And personally, in my opinion, if you went and sat on Harvey Weinstein's couch, you knew what you were getting into. When you deal with those kind of people, you should have a loose knowledge of what you're getting into.
Well, now this is where it starts to get creepy, okay? The lawsuit against Dr. Culker is stating that Janelle Grant was repeatedly medicated with unknown substances, including being medicated intravenously.
Again, that's been going on since the beginning of the entertainment industry.
But these are things that should not be happening. That's the point.
It's true. And someone could have spoke up many, many years ago, but even like Judy Garland, they gave her so many drugs, she didn't know what she was on half the time, just to keep her awake and perky and ready for fans.
But I mean, we'll get into where I feel like you're going with this in a minute. I will ask, but let me kind of finish going through this. The filing also states that Dr. Culker was involved in a sexual a sexual act with Janelle Grant, and Vince McMahon was in the room, and during this whole thing, Vince McMahon pooped on Janelle Grant's head and then forced her to continue the act.
Why don't these people come out when this stuff happens?
Fear. I mean, I don't know.
Fear. Okay. Yeah, you may be scared, but you have all the evidence against that person right there on your body. In your pants. You have all the evidence against that person.
Well, at that point, she had it in her hair too. Adam's right.
Like I said, all over your body. That is the opportune time to go to the police and say, hey, this person raped me. Put a kid on it. Get some DNA.
I am happy to announce we have found a limit for Steve. Yay!
And what is the ordeal between Vince McMahon and R. Kelly with shitting and pissing on people? How does that get you off?
I'm Vince McMahon. I have been carrying this turd since 2001 when I beat WCW, and now I'm going to release it onto your head.
I wonder if it's just like a level of control. Like
it
I
might
have
be
so much control over that person that they have no choice but to accept me shitting on them or pissing on them.
But I don't get why would Steve, have you ever pooped on anybody? I've got to know. Willingly, unwillingly, have you ever pooped on anyone?
Can't say that I have.
If you haven't, Adam, have you ever pooped on anyone? Accidentally?
No.
I'll tell you what. If
Oh God. No.
Oh, highlight that, please.
No.
Please highlight that.
Yeah.
God, no.
so, Steve likes to get a golden shower.
Steve says he can deal with being pissed on, but not shit on. Oh, no. He says he has peed on a girl.
Oh, we all have.
I haven't.
Nope.
Never.
You guys need to live a little.
Dude, I've enjoyed my life, but I've never peed on anyone. Well, I've never peed on anyone that did not deserve it.
I've peed on a few people, and a couple of them probably didn't deserve it.
I mean, you start harassing my bartender and treating her like crap, I'm going to piss on you.
So apparently one night, drunk Chris pulled a Cheech Marin, gets up out of bed 2:00 in the morning, thinks I'm pissing in the toilet, but apparently I'm pissing in the laundry basket in the corner.
Oh, God.
Wife starts yelling at me, and I don't even stop pissing. I just turn around, look right at her, stream still going right on her. What the fuck are you yelling about?
Fucking Steve. God damn it.
More peed in her.
More peed in her than on her. Oh, my God.
Like, yeah,
But,
no,
all right.
I've never done that.
So the lawsuit that has now been expanded to Peak Wellness and Dr. Calker, they are now asking for a multitude of different things. And here's what's been included. There are 8 different categories from the records that have been included that they are requiring from Peak Wellness. The electronic medical records and including all associated metadata. Dr. Calker and Peak Wellness's record keeping and billing procedures. Payment records relating to Ms. Grant. Dr. Calker and Peak Wellness's payment arrangements with McMahon or WWE. The purpose of Grant's prescribed treatments, the substances of Grant's prescribed treatments, any and all communications between Dr. Calker and McMahon relating to Ms. Grant, and Dr. Calker's involvement in recommending Ms. Grant's attorney for negotiation of the perpetrated or purported non-disclosure agreement.
Now, what I'm wondering, and it just popped into my head, with the shit, literally with the shit he's doing there,
Yeah.
there has to be some kind of history. And if I remember correctly, in the late 80s, maybe early 90s, there was a whole big thing about steroids in the WWF.
Yes.
Why wouldn't this shit have like surfaced at that time when they were under investigation?
That actually was nationwide news back then. Because, you know, Vince was not only under an investigation, he was indicted for illegally giving steroids to his talent. Now, I don't know how he did it, but somehow the weaselly little fucker beat the indictment. Now, it is saying right at the end of the Forbes story that I've got here, it says WWE is currently enjoying its most financially successful era in history after being acquired by parent company TKO Endeavor. Still an ongoing legal battle between Grant, Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, and WWE continues to be the vile elephant in the room. Now, and everybody remembers John Laurinaitis. Executive Vice President of Telerelations, John Laurinaitis.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
how is this the most profitable time for WWF?
Oh,
when
dude.
back in the day, even in the 90s, the Attitude Era.
Dude, I mean, they're
I mean,
dominating right now.
Kids aren't wearing wrestling merch today.
I beg to differ with you. I have actually seen kids out there wearing like Jey Uso stuff, Roman Reigns stuff, Cody Rhodes stuff. Yeah, it's out there.
But it's not as common as D-Generation X.
Oh, yeah. But, you know.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, my little brother, his junior high yearbook, I think every kid, if there was a boy, he was most likely wearing D-Generation X, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the one Hulk Hogan was in.
Oh, NWO.
NWO, yeah. I mean, it's not as prevalent today as it was back in the 80s and 90s.
But you get what I'm saying is like, this is hitting headlines.
Yeah. And like I said, it's coming out everywhere in the entertainment industry. Harvey Weinstein, Vince McMahon, Puff Daddy. When they came out with Puff Daddy, I was the first one to say I'm not surprised. I called that in the 90s. I called that shit in the 90s.
I mean, P. Diddy, he was creepy.
He was creepy back in the day.
I mean, nobody wanted to listen to him. He was creepy.
Yeah. Except
he was creepy, but none of us knew he was like thousands of lube bottles creepy.
Yes.
Except for the one thing that's really a problem for me. In 1996, that one song by him was pounded through so many radio stations. I can't listen to the Police sing Every Breath You Take anymore.
No shit. I do have to address this real quick. I do feel sorry for Steve because he got so stoned on Monday after Wake and Bake that he had a trail of piss going to his bathroom, including soaking down his socks.
Really, Steve? I have been that drunk, but I don't think I could possibly get that fucking stoned that I piss myself. I mean, and I sit there watching TV, cartoons and stuff when they get stoned and they get all tripped out over a little bit of weed. I'm sitting there wondering, when is that ever going to happen? When does that effect kick in?
Yeah, I'd like to enjoy that,
Yeah, I'd like to trip some balls off just by smoking a joint.
All right, so a related story during all of this, right?
Adam was trying to say something.
Oh, sorry, Adam.
And my question for Steve is he training for the smoke off coming up?
He might be.
I mean, come on, this is number 2 since we started the show. And Steve's already pissing himself.
That was Monday.
Uh-huh.
So
you pissed yourself on a Monday getting stoned? Come on, man.
No, that's talent. You know what? That's talent. He pissed himself on a Monday getting stoned. That is talent.
Oh, man, that's some space cadet shit.
He said it took 20 minutes to get into the shower. All right, so in a related story, everybody knows the Bella twins, Brie and Nikki Bella, right?
Okay, yeah.
All right, Brie Bella actually revealed some more information.
They're wrestlers, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were both pretty fucking cute, too. Brie Bella actually revealed a little bit more regarding this lawsuit and some things that happened. Steve says he's stoned right now. And some things that happened since the lawsuits come out. Kathy Kalachi, the mother of Nikki and Brie Bella, was famously married in 2015 to John Laurinaitis. And it was broadcast on an episode of Total Bellas. Well, very little have been said about their marriage since they got married. However, since the lawsuit and the sex trafficking and abuse and former wrestlers and personalities all being vocal about their opinion of John Laurinaitis, the Bella's mother has now filed for divorce.
Now looking back at the dumpster fire,
Right?
like now I'll get out. Not back then, but now looks good.
Teddy
Now
Long.
this
Well,
is training for the smoke off.
here's the thing. I gotta give her credit. That's actually pretty smart. Files for divorce. No, wait. She files for divorce now. Get into 2025. That's 10 years. Laurinaitis better take a picture of all his shit and tear it in half because that's what he's going to get.
Mhm.
And she can get, well, they call it maintenance now.
Well,
It was
now,
alimony.
you got to remember there may have been, and a lot of people in the industry always sign a prenup.
Okay. But usually the prenup goes out the window when there's proof of infidelity.
That depends on what clauses are in the prenup. A
Yeah.
prenup can be specified to the person. If they don't want an infidelity clause in the prenup, they can leave it out.
Dude, sex trafficking and abuse?
Now that's criminal charges. And again, if criminal charges are not part of the prenuptial agreement, it's thrown out. I'm sorry, I know a lot of legal shit, especially when it comes to divorce and prenuptial agreements.
All right, so she was on. Actually, no, the divorce is final. Their mother was on the Nikki and Brie Bella show, and Brie asked if it was okay. Is it fine to tell everyone that she was now divorced? And their mother, she says she's not single and ready to mingle by no means, but she is enjoying her independent time, and people are just curious to know where she's at.
Now, I want to know how all these people get their own shows. What the fuck?
It's
Stone Cold's
kind
got
of-
his own now.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
actually,
me and my
Undertaker's
wife-
got his own now.
We were talking about it earlier, and I'm like, fucking, it's just the Kardashians. They're stupid. And my wife says, no, they're millionaires. I says, yeah, well, that don't mean you're fucking smart. Just watch their TV show. They get paid to be fucking idiots. Granted, yeah, their dad, Bob Kardashian, that dude was a fucking legal genius. But other than that, they're all a bunch of fucking idiots.
Well, there you go. Teddy Long actually came out and called John Laurinaitis a piece of shit. And Ronda Rousey in her book ripped the former head of talent relations apart. While Laurinaitis has joined the lawsuit against Vince McMahon, his marriage is now over. And I'm pretty sure that the guy that, well, if there was cheating going on and, the guy that was cheating on with, Brie and Bella, the Bella twins' mom, got up when Laurinaitis showed up. I'm sure he would have ran out and smacked Laurinaitis with his dong. And I would think that was funny. Luckily, I'm very pleased to say I don't know anybody who has ever suffered that embarrassment.
Yep, I don't know anyone who suffered either. It'd be
I don't know
funny
anybody.
to find out.
I don't know anybody who has ever been cheated on, and then when they showed up and caught their wife cheating, they got dong slapped as the guy was running out of the house. I'm very happy I don't know anybody like that.
Like, oh, honey, he left a mark.
It's a mushroom stamp.
There's a little bit of white stuff on your forehead, too.
Former, wait.
I mean, there's been a lot that has been out over this whole thing ever since it started. That's what you get for making fun of my family. So I'll leave it at that. But no,
When asked about how evil Vince McMahon was or is, Mushnick rather had an unusual comparison.
Oh, yeah.
He says, I know of Vince McMahon. He's the closest thing to the fictional Hannibal Lecter that I've ever met.
Yeah.
He is sick and he is a sociopath.
Yeah, that was that Mushnick was one of the reporters that kept reporting negatively on Vince McMahon, and finally, after this started happening, it gained traction. Now, here's the kicker to it.
Oh, and here they're talking about the steroid scandal of the 90s.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with what you're saying, so I figured I'll do some quick homework.
So here's the kicker to all of this. Surprisingly enough, someone leaked that Donald Trump, if elected, may actually pardon Vince McMahon.
Yeah, just put Vince in the cabinet. If you're going to do that.
What's he going to be, the poop master?
Poop master general.
The imperial master of swag.
I mean, for crying out loud. He literally is talking about pardoning a guy that poops on people.
That's... Now, there are... I don't agree with pardons.
No?
I believe there are some circumstances where, yeah, a guy may be eligible for a pardon. Say he's been locked up 25 years because he got busted for weed in the 70s. Guy should have never been locked up to begin with.
Right.
I mean, but if you're a rapist, a murderer, a sex trafficker,
a serial pooper,
I am against the whole you're safe from cruel and unusual punishment. I am an advocate for cruel and unusual punishment. Only because I believe in a lot of cases, the punishment should match the crime.
I'm not disagreeing.
So
Not disagreeing at all.
People like being put back in the stockade out in the middle.
I do, yes. Bring back the stockade and public humiliation.
Yes.
And
just be careful in case that's their kink.
That's a good point.
And all these people here in prison in the United States that say they're treated unfairly and treated poorly in prison. I'm sorry, you got better care than people in nursing homes, and try going to prison anywhere else in the world, except for Norway.
Well, what happens in Norway?
Norway, their prison system is not incarceration. It truly is rehabilitation. When you go to prison in Norway, you're basically going to college.
What?
Yeah.
Yes, they are firm believers in rehabilitation and education and helping someone better themselves so when they're done, they can advance in society. And I truly agree with their system.
I think I would poop on people on purpose just to go through that.
Hey, now, there are different classifications, but your minimum, your medium security people that are just simple, small, stupid stuff, you go to college. Now, your murderers and stuff like that, they got a whole different place for them, and it's not pretty.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm going to go right back to, again, here's this guy. You know, what do you do with Vince McMahon, who was sex trafficking and pooping on people?
put them in a room and just have people shit and sodomize them.
Well, who are you going to get to do that?
Punishment matches the crime. You're going to get stuck in a room where they're going to come in and they're going to have their choice whether they're going to take a shit on you or they're going to sodomize you.
Well, I mean, who are you going to get to do that? You going to put him in the same cell as P. Diddy?
Yep. Hey, be glad it's P. Diddy. You know he's going to use plenty of lube.
Yeah, after he pees. Oh, God. You know, I wound up in a conversation with somebody about this the other day. Like, sex in water is never good.
Fuck that, dude. We were staying at the resort in Florida, and the tub in the one master bathroom was big enough. You bet your ass me and my wife had sex in it.
But dude, the water always dries everything up. It's just not fun.
Not if you're doing it right.
I'm gonna say, yeah, not if you're doing it right.
Yeah, I've heard that crap before. And I hate sex in the shower. I fucking hate having sex in the shower.
Oh, not in the shower, because it's hard to I just can never find the right position to stand. But now if it's a big enough bathtub to where you can grab her up and have her sit on your lap, do it.
Now, having sex in an endless pool was awesome.
In a what?
An endless pool.
Like an infinity pool.
The water and it just keeps flowing toward you, but it's a smaller container. Usually one person uses it to swim, but not really move forward or backward.
A self-sustaining lap pool.
Yeah.
Where it basically has a current and you're swimming against the current.
Yeah.
Who the fuck thinks of this shit?
Adam?
Who the hell thinks of the hey, I feel like I want to go swim laps but not go anywhere.
Now, I will have sex in a pool, but I will not have sex in a hot tub.
That I
won't do it there either.
One thing about it is water temperature. In hot tubs, the water is right for bacteria and whatnot. And that's why I do not recommend having sex in a hot tub unless it's your own personal hot tub and you have cleaned it beforehand.
Yeah, because you never know who had sex in it before you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now the pool at the Days Inn in Morris.
I'm never swimming in that pool.
I got caught in that pool. One of my good friends worked at the front desk, so I'd go there swimming with friends all the time. And the one day I had a girl in there, and after we left, she hit me up later and she's like, "Hey, were you fucking so-and-so in the pool?" And I'm, "No." Bullshit.
Well, I'm pretty sure I made Steve mad, but when I said it to start,
deny.
Yeah, right.
I'm pretty sure I made Steve mad and he left. But when I started the show talking about my uncle having the cancer, and that's why we had to end the show because I was dealing with that last night. And the first thing he said to me was, "Man, I'm glad I'm not related to you." Because you got my grandpa, my dad, and my uncle now. Mm-hmm. That we're marking time on all of them.
Well,
and he pops off something like that when we're really going through a lot. Yeah, of course I'm going to bring up something that's going to piss him off.
Well, he also pissed himself after smoking a joint.
That's true.
And here I'm sitting with a 13-inch steamroller.
Yeah, right. So, no, I mean, turning around and making fun of me with everything I've got going on around me and then expecting me not to retaliate. He'll calm down. So, no, again,
Why don't you have a big old glass of chill the fuck out, and I'll even give you a straw so you can suck it up, Buttercup.
I'll tell you what, here's the thing, right? Last time I had sex in the shower, and this is going to wind up in my second book when I get done, when I finish up. I've actually started the first one. I finished chapter 1. I'm getting ready to start chapter 2 probably after the show. I've already got the prologue and the dedication wrote, and chapter 1, I'm going to start chapter 2 here probably after the show tonight.
Okay.
What game were you at, Mike?
Probably Mississippi game.
Yeah, it's Friday, high school.
Well, yeah. But yeah, the first book that I'm writing, it's a series of 3. And it's loosely based on my life, but there are some real things that are going in these books. Like everybody has heard the story of the guy that I worked with on the air in New Mexico that thought he had an STD and it wound up being acne. He says Ocean Springs High School.
Oh, right on.
Okay.
So he had a pimple on his pecker and he thought he had an STD?
Yes.
Well, in order to get an STD, first you would actually have to be able to have sex with someone.
He did.
Oh.
He did. That was where the whole thing started.
And the pimple on his pecker was a result of it.
Well, I mean, when you
Sounds like you just need to wash your wiener, dude.
when you raw dog a Mexican hooker in the back door.
Yeah,
I'd probably
do
spit
it.
on it first.
But, you know, he went full on unprotected.
Didn't want to take the Purell wiener wash after that.
No, he did not. But we did tell him that we did tell him for a couple of weeks after that he needed to masturbate with Purell.
Please tell me he didn't. Actually, better yet, tell me he did.
I would say I could tell you he didn't, but I would be lying.
God, the fucking burn.
35-3 in the fourth quarter. God, it sounds like Texas, Oklahoma last week.
Do you right?
So yeah, I did actually issue him a challenge, and I paid him a bonus to utilize Purell hand sanitizer for lubrication during a masturbation session while on the air.
See, I don't think I could ever do that on air.
Oh, he did.
There's a lot of things I can do on air.
Whoa. So he did this on air, or he told you about it on air?
No, he went to the bathroom with his cell phone, called back into the studio.
Jesus.
And did this from a stall on the air.
Why didn't you just give him a wireless microphone?
Because I didn't want my microphone soiled like that. He watches porn on his phone.
You got them ones that can just hook onto the shirt and.
No.
All right, guys, here we go. We're in the bathroom. No.
And the screams that occurred when this happened were epic.
Well, yeah, he's literally putting fucking pure alcohol on his wiener. If that don't burn.
It's
being
basically a scorched earth policy on his dick.
Me being the kind and caring friend that I was at the time.
Right.
I paid him the bonus to do that. The day he told me that he finally popped the zit on his wiener from the whole.
Oh, so So he had an open wound.
Yes.
You dick. Dude.
Well, I figured if you were jacking off with Purell, by the time you're done, that zit would just have burned itself off.
But no, he
it should
popped
be
it.
gone.
He popped it. And I paid him $100 to take the Purell into the bathroom with his phone and call back in. And now I take it back. That was when I was doing Mayhem Radio Network. That was the internet station. So he was in the bathroom, and I'm I'm at the opposite end of the place in my studio, and we could hear him through 2 sets of walls and the door screaming.
So wait. When are you going to start handing us bonuses for doing stupid shit?
I'm not asking you to do stupid shit.
Yeah, you are. You're asking me to join you every Thursday and Sunday.
That's not stupid shit. That raises your intelligence level. Gives you ideas.
Shit, it puts my IQ in question.
Really?
You know that line in Happy Gilmore? You have wasted our time, and we are now stupider for listening. Yeah, I'm fucking with you, TJ. I'm fucking with you, TJ. If I didn't want to be here, I wouldn't be here.
Say that was one of the things that I did to him that it turned out to be just broadcasting gold.
That's fucking great.
I'd say you caught lightning in a bottle, but that's not what you did. You caught something.
Well, I caught something all right. I think he caught something a little bit more painful.
Yeah.
No, whatever he caught was just scrubbed away with the Purell.
And I mean, you got to remember, this was mid-2000s. This was literally when hand sanitizer was just coming out. So it was.
And the stuff smelled. You could smell the fucking booze in it.
You knew it had alcohol in it. That stuff was stronger than Aqua Velva.
It smelled like some fucking straight bathtub moonshine.
Yeah, it did. You're right. So when you're talking hand sanitizer, we're talking the first style of hand sanitizer, and that was the Purell I made him rub in an open wound on his wiener.
The Purell for Gen X. None of that sissy shit.
Yeah, back then it disappeared real quick.
Yeah.
Did he have to take like double applications to make sure that it was lubed?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm trying to think where I was. I was somewhere, and I went to the bathroom, and I noticed on their counter they had this can, and it said Aquanet, not your mom's hairspray. And I thought, fuck yeah, they banned that shit in like 87, 88.
No shit.
No, actually, you can get that stuff at Dollar General.
It ain't the same.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not. It still makes for a pretty good fireball, though. If you spray it out of the can.
Oh yeah, that's just aerosol in general.
The old Aquanet, you would spray on the cat and spray on the dog, and then you'd throw the cat at the dog and watch the cat stick to the dog.
Yup.
I mean, that was the old Aquanet.
Oh, yeah. Like I told my wife, I'm surprised not many high schools burned down in the 80s.
No shit.
Fire starting in the bathroom with all the fucking hairspray and spandex.
Well, the hairspray, the spandex. They were smoking cigarettes in the bathroom while doing their hair with the Aquanet.
Yeah, fucking go to spark up a cigarette, the whole bathroom moves.
Yeah, right. But I mean, back in the 80s and the 90s, hell, we'd sit there and smoke cigarettes while pumping gas. We didn't care.
I still do.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? And I don't recommend anyone to actually try this, but I have actually done experiments with cigarettes and gasoline. And it is damn near impossible to light gasoline with a cigarette.
You have to have the fumes. It can't be
You
just
have
a
to have
puff.
the fumes, and it actually has to be a spark or a flame. A cigarette is just an ember. You throw it in a pile of gas, and it's just going to put the cigarette out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people always yell at me, can't smoke at the gas pump. I can't smoke in my car either, so I'll smoke when I'm pumping my gas.
Why can't you smoke in your car?
I roll. Nice car. My Infiniti G37X.
Yeah.
No one smokes nothing in that car.
Except you and a bag of weed.
Nope, not even that. You know how many pit stops I made on the way to Florida?
500.
No, I actually, when I'm going down the road in that car, I like to see how far can I get down the road without a cigarette before I got to stop. And I'll tell you what, I make it a lot further down the road when I'm in the car by myself.
You better not tell her that. Be no more vacations for Chris.
Oh, no, she knows. She knows. I don't get stressed out as much. I turn the radio up and don't pay attention. And
Just
when I'm by myself driving down the road, I prefer to actually stop at rest areas instead of gas stations and whatever.
Well, you know, I was kind of thinking about this. And that Vince McMahon documentary, I did watch the whole thing. And it was actually really, really, really good. But it reminded me of something. You know, we always talk about the difference of eras, right? And like our generation and what it was like for Gen X growing up, and then how things have changed. And my God, you know, if you watch the different versions of wrestling over the years, it does explain a lot. I mean, it shows you right there. I mean, look at the late 90s and the Attitude Era and everything they got away with.
Like DX and the Tank.
That was 09. Unless you're talking the Little Tank when they tried to invade WCW.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Close up, Chris.
But, you know, you had that. You had...
Just looking at my calendar, made sure I had the right date, doing some quick homework.
Oh, I mean, how many of us want to punch our boss in the face? Of Gen X. How many of us want to punch our boss in the face? And we got to watch it weekly on TV where there's a guy that punched his boss every week in the face.
Yeah.
It depends on which boss you're talking about. Now, I've had some dickhead. I've actually had a boss I did punch in the face. I had a boss that punched me in the face. But the guy I worked for down here, Mike Goldston, when I was in a traffic accident last year, it was not work related, but I had some serious injuries and I was out of work for a minute. That man, no questions asked, continued to cut me a check every single week until I came back. No other boss in the world would even think about doing that for me.
No, absolutely not.
Before they had me away from the scene and into the ambulance, I knew my buddy Chris was there. He was the first cop on the scene. Plus, my boss and two other guys from my work were there. Like, is he okay? Is he okay? I know I heard their voices.
Right.
So, I mean, never find another boss like that again.
No, absolutely not. And you're right.
And I'm actually trying to continue working for the guy.
But you see what I'm saying is, like, you look at, and then you go into the era right after the Attitude Era. They called it the Ruthless Aggression Era. But again, how many people do you know that would like to dump a full contents of a porta potty on their boss? Depending on which former employer it was, I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be a roundabout way of.
So
Be a
yeah, I've had
roundabout way.
bosses I've wanted to punch, and then I've had bosses I've wanted to fuck. And some hot, you know, hot young ladies who were really good bosses. Made it real easy to come into work.
You don't. Oh fuck! I can't say that.
Uh-oh.
I've had one boss since I have been driving a truck that, if given the opportunity, I would have bent her over her desk.
Can't
Just
say
one.
what. You got freedom of speech.
No, I was gonna say no. In the trucking
Granted,
industry,
everything you say can you be used against you, but
aha. Since it's still under the Mayhem flag, it is not admissible in court. I actually had that proven.
well, no, that's why I tell my wife, I try to watch what I say on air and shit, because who knows, in 10 years, they might try to take something I said and spin it to be something totally fucked up.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, the thing that scares me about what we do is not now. It's 20 years or 10 years from now. Like, I am getting ready. I'm in the process now of writing 6 Years in Las Cruces. I'm writing my first novel. I finally did the outline. I finally got it all mapped out. I finally did all of my prep work. And now I'm finally writing it. Okay.
Okay.
I am so terrified of one thing, because this is a true, I'm writing it as as this enjoyable coming of age story that has our antics and then some additional stuff that I'd heard about in the book. And I'm scared of my son reading it and going, what the actual hell do I have for a parent?
Well, see, that's when you wait until they are of age to give them the book.
Yeah. Well, they don't put NC-17 on anything in Barnes and Noble, okay?
Ocean Springs, Mississippi 48, Harrison Central 3.
That is very similar to Texas versus Oklahoma last week.
That is. And I thought about writing down some of my memoirs, and then I thought about making the Chronic Chris Wikipedia page.
Oh, God. But no, I'm doing this. It's not so much a memoir. I mean, it's a fictionalized version of what really happened. And I am taking some creative license, and there are things that are going to be added and taken away and done.
So it's more like the Weird Al story than it is the actual Weird Al biography.
Right. Yeah, in a way, yes. But I mean, I'm enjoying writing it. That's the weird part. I have been creatively writing for well over 20 years. And to sit down and finally do this book, I'm really enjoying it. And I wrote the dedication, and I sent the dedication to the main people I was really dedicating it to. And that was three of my closest friends, that while I was there, they were pretty much there with me on the ride. Now, one thing I'm going to make, there's one individual that will be fictionalized in the book as, a potential love interest for my character. Okay. The fact is I think we got close a couple times, but we never pulled the trigger on it. And pretty much knew that when I had to make the move back to Illinois, that it was never going to happen. And I made the move. And it was like, do I pick her or do I make the move? And in the last few chapters of the book, I'm going to really make that a big core of what it was. And then the epilogue is my character basically sitting on the pass and contemplating the previous 6 years, leaving Las Cruces to never move back. So you got to get an idea, I've got the full map of the book. Now it's writing it, getting the ink for my printer, making sure I have additional ink cartridges for the printer so I could print the manuscript when it's done and it's edited and it's in its final edit and ready to go.
Yeah.
Skytech Edge Gaming desktop, 1 terabyte, 32 gigabyte, and 32-inch screen.
Why are you yelling at us, Mike?
Mike always does everything in caps. I've asked him the same thing.
I think it depends on what version of GeForce is in it. I think that's usually what it comes down to, though. That and what chipset it has in it.
Yeah, what's your
RTX.
RTX, it says. You guys are speaking Greek on me now.
what processor are you using?
Yeah, what's the processing chipset?
Like, does it turn on and work? Okay, that's a computer. I can use it.
Because if I had the money and could afford to do it, I'd probably build my own fucking computer.
There's so many of you guys that do that. And I'm like, yeah, I'll buy it. I know it'll be out of date in a year, but I'll buy it.
They don't have to be out of date in a year as long as you at least know somebody who can update something in it.
Yeah. He says he doesn't know. He hadn't looked at all of it yet. Doesn't know all the details.
Yeah. Mike, if you want to send me like information about it, I'll go through it and see if it would be a good deal for you. I mean, I have no issue doing that. Obviously, not on the show,
right?
But, I need information before saying
Tech Talk with Adam.
Oh, it sucks.
Well, it could become a new show. Tech Talk with Adam.
Tech Talk with Adam, yeah.
But no, like I said, now you look back and where I'm writing this book, the time frame of when I'm writing the book is 2005 to 2011.
I was all over the place between those years.
2005 to 2011. Now you think about that time frame. Think about the world in that time frame. Generation X was just getting into their 20s.
Yeah.
And living their 20s. That was my mid and upper 20s. That was my formative, I call that, everyone's formative years because you got to go from
That's
like
tail end of Gen X was in their 20s.
But you've got to go from like 18 to 24 and have your fuck up years.
Yeah, you really do.
Shoot, my fuck up years were 18 to 28.
Well, that's your problem.
I was 28 when I met. But you know what? In those 10 years, I lived in Chicago, Illinois, Springfield, Illinois, Morris, Illinois, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Arizona, Iowa. I traveled with the carnival. I did a lot of traveling in that 10 years. Between traveling with the carnival and then in 07, I followed Ozfest. I followed the Grateful Dead for a little bit. I mean, it was a fucking blast for me.
But you understand what I'm saying. It's like you've got to have that time frame where you're a screw up. You've got to have that time frame that's what you do. For me, I still had a couple of years of it. Not as aggressive when I moved to Las Cruces, but I still had a couple of years of it. But I grew out of it. And I started getting my priorities in that time. Now, don't get me wrong. Was there a lot of crazy crap that happened all around me, even up until the day I moved? Absolutely. There was some of the most insane shit I've ever seen happened in that time frame.
One of the last juvenile facilities I was in before I turned 18, one of the counselors looked at me and said, "Man, you're going to get out there. You're going to turn 18 and you're just going to make up for your teenage years and you're probably going to get in trouble and shit."
And
boy, was he right.
But I mean, here, like, I'll go another step with this, right? Look, and I'm going to say, and I genuinely mean this, and I'm going to say it right now. I really wish, Steve and I jab at each other, but I really wish I knew Steve when I was in my heyday in Las Cruces. I really wish I did. Because he would have been there and along for the ride and had so many memorable stories to go with that time frame. And it would just, I would be so happy with the fact that he would have that. I'd never want to take it away from him, Matter of fact, Rage is going to wind up in the book.
Is this before or after Sarah Jane?
Before, actually.
Okay.
That was another fun thing we were talking about, in the car on the way to Florida. You get a lot of family time.
Ruh-roh.
And one of the conversations was, I wonder how many people's stories I'm a character in.
That you're a character in?
Yeah, like you tell the story, me and my buddy back in the day, and then so-and-so back in the day, and this happened. I wonder how many times someone tells a story, and man, back in the day, me and Chronic Chris, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I mean, you're going to hit the... You're going to be in the second book.
All right, on.
And maybe a little bit in the third. Not as much in the third book. The third book's going to be a little different.
Man, you walked into that gas station and it smelled like a Cheech and Chong concert. You knew Chris was working.
Pretty much. No, I'm going to go one, like the title I'm working on the outline for the title for the second book, but the title's already there. That's Illinois is Purgatory.
Not wrong.
No. Not far
and
off.
I'm not saying it to knock the people that I know that live in Illinois. I don't want them to think that.
Oh, the people in Illinois already know that.
I mean, I'm not saying that to knock them. Just to me, I felt like I was trapped the whole time I was there. So like where, 6 years in Las Cruces and writing that book, is a genuine pleasure for me to do. And I'm loving every minute of writing it because it's bringing up all these great memories and these people that I love and this whole life that I created for myself. when I do Illinois' Purgatory, I'm going to have to be in a lot darker place to write it.
Yeah.
Because
having to write it and kind of relive some of the
there are
stuff.
some things that there are some very cold things I'm going to have to relive.
Yeah.
But the thing about that book is, again, I want to encapsulate when I write that book how I really did. I really felt like I was trapped when I lived there. I felt like I was in purgatory. I knew I could get out. I wanted to get out, but I didn't know how until I finally just pulled the trigger and said, fuck it, I'm out.
That's pretty much what we did. I mean, granted, I always enjoyed the work I did in Illinois, whether I was working at the gas station, working at the Top Fuel Saloon. I was a manager at McDonald's. I mean, I had a lot of different jobs in Illinois.
Right.
But I always tried to have fun doing them, and I always knew that the only way for me to advance and find something better was to get the fuck out of Illinois.
I mean,
well, you know what
I chose to leave, and I thought I was going to be in Wisconsin for at least 3 to 5 years. I didn't foresee me coming back in a year. And I got to enjoy Wisconsin, except for the bitter fucking cold.
Yeah.
I love Wisconsin.
But
You're not.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm back, but you know,
You're not gonna, like, you say you love Wisconsin. You're not gonna turn into a Packer fan, are you?
Oh, fuck no. Hell no. Bear down, motherfucker. Bear down to the day I die.
So
Even though I don't really, if I really don't watch games and I don't follow teams, but if there's a Bears game on or if it's Sunday, I'm rooting for the Bears. If there's a Cubs game on or if it's game day, you know, I'm rooting for the Cubs.
Oh, now
one of my best friends religiously every single day watches the Cubs game.
No shit.
Yes. And it's funny because my brother, you know, he don't really do sports or nothing, so he don't realize they play every single day.
Uh-oh.
Up in Illinois for about 5 days, and he's staying at their house, and they watch the Cubs game the first day, and then the next day my brother comes in and, what are you watching? Cubs game? Didn't you watch this yesterday? Well, this is today's game. They play every fucking day. We got to watch this every fucking day. God damn it.
That's not every day. You get like a 3-day series and then it's over.
3 days on, a day off. 4 days on, a day off.
Yeah. It's not every day.
And if it's a home game, it's even better because chances are you likely, if you got time and nothing else to do, you can just fucking hop on the train and go.
Go on down to the ballpark. Yeah.
Yeah. Granted, it's not like it was back in the day when you paid like what, $20 for bleacher seats?
Yeah, $25 for the bleacher seats. Then you spend another, $10 and you get a bucket of beer like this.
Yeah, now it's fucking outrageous. $80 to $100 for bleacher seats, and then the beers are $20 a pop.
Yeah, and they're like 8-ounce beers.
No, it's still the 16-ounce beer, but it's just fucking.
Yeah, but the bucket was like a 3-gallon beer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you could get the bucket, and that's like fucking $50 now.
I'll take the 3-gallon old style you got over there.
And throw in a sausage right there.
Throw in a Polish sausage.
When we were down in Nashville for Trans-Siberian Orchestra, fucking Bud Light Tall Boy, $15.
I don't like Bud Light. I've never liked Bud Light.
Well, my wife she's a little bit gay, so she drinks Bud Light.
That wasn't just offensive as hell.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
But no, just I'm not a fan of. I think Bud Light tastes like penny piss. I mean, I just don't like Bud Light.
I'm not a fan of beer, but there are certain beers I do like.
Lone Star.
Uh, you know what? I've tried Lone Star. It's not bad. I wouldn't go out of my way to drink it, but I'm sorry. The stuff from New Glarus in Wisconsin. Anytime I'm in Wisconsin or near the border and know
Right.
I can get some real quick across, I'm stopping to get some Two Women.
Oh, there you go.
I love that beer.
There was a beer many, many years ago, and the brewery is still there in San Antonio. It was called Pearl.
Pearl, yep.
Pearl
Came in a
tastes
white-
like fucking straight piss.
White can and said Pearl in red cursive
Yeah.
letters.
That's it. That
My granddad
tastes like
drank Pearl.
straight piss. Now I will. I have a cousin that was down here recently, and while he was here, he went and he bought like 2 cases of Shiner. All right, now as you guys know, living down here, I've been to the Shiner Brewery. I do enjoy Shiner Bock,
Yeah, but
right?
You can get the
Right.
Shiner a lot of places.
But the thing is like I don't know what it is. I have bought Shiner in Illinois, and it's a little more bitter, honestly, than what I get here.
Well, then
Is it like
somewhere
the
between
difference
brewery
between-
and Illinois, they're letting it get out of temperature.
That could be it.
Like, is it the difference between buying a Coke in the U.S. and buying a Coke in Mexico?
Yeah,
Like, kind of.
yeah, kind of, yeah.
Well, that's because Mexico uses real sugar, whereas the United States uses high fructose corn syrup.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is why I will go down to the Mexican store once in a while and buy Mexican Coca-Cola. And my son wants me to bring him back. Dun, 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 Mexican Fanta. Because he's like, oh, I could get it here. I'm like, no, you're not getting the real deal, bud.
Yeah. It's not the same.
You're not getting the real deal either.
And how do you figure that?
Because that, my friend, is the real deal.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I know.
Yep.
I'm well aware. I mean, I live here, remember?
No, that is the real deal. That is an original recipe Coca-Cola.
Oh, you're saying like one of the first. Why do you
Yeah,
collect
that's
this
a
stuff?
vintage bottle of Coca-Cola.
Why do you collect this stuff?
Because it's the
I'll
only
tell
way
you
he
what.
can legally have cocaine in his house.
I'll tell you what it is, man. Last year for Christmas, it was great because we hand out everybody's presents, and I like to help hand out presents. And then I sit back and I watch everybody open their presents. And that's my Christmas. That's what I enjoy doing. It makes me smile.
Okay.
My brother-in-law opened up a little box and it had a little bit of weed in it and a bowl. And he's like, cool. Grandma went to the dispensary for the brother-in-law. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. You got some weed. Cool. My turn. Open up the first one from my stepson. And that's what it was. I said, hey, Guppy, you got some weed. Cool. But I got some cocaine.
But you know
That
what I'm
might-
saying? Like, I seriously believe, I am in full belief now at this point that you're collecting of all the stuff that you collect. You are borderline OCD.
We were playing Stir the Pot, and I was second to most likely becoming a hoarder.
Second?
I think you're
Yeah,
You're on
there
your
was
way
one
now.
person in the group that was more likely to be a hoarder than me, and I'm like, have you seen my house, my collection?
You're on your way now.
I know, but
I could
like
guarantee.
I told,
I could bet you right now. I bet anybody out there, and I will say it right now, that if I ask Chris for a copy of the Chicago Times or the Chicago Sun-Times from November of 2016 when the Cubs won the World Series, he's got it in that house.
I do somewhere because I also have the Tribune. No, I don't have the Sun Times. I have the Tribune from when the Cubs won the World Series.
Okay, so you got the
And
Trib.
I have the Tribune from when Mother Teresa died somewhere.
And I'll bet you've also got the Tribune from 1985 and the Bears winning the Super Bowl.
No, but I do have a team photo of that. And somewhere around here, I have the complete history of the Bears.
He's also got, I bet you, he's also got the Tribune when they did the story of Lemmy dying.
No, I don't, but I do actually have a copy of one of the funeral cards.
Hoarder.
Well, and I, you know what? I'll tell you exactly why I have trouble letting go of things. So y'all know when I was a kid, I claimed I'm the real life Joe Dirt because when I was a little kid, I was sent to foster care and I bounced around from foster care and juvenile places and all that other crap. And I never really had nothing that was mine. And then when I was in my 20s, you know, I always said someday I'm going to have a house just full of my stuff. And then in my 20s, I never really had the opportunity for it because I was always traveling, moving around, doing stuff. So now in my 40s, I finally have my own house of stuff.
Well, dude, it's like every time I bring something up and you're like, oh, no, here, I've got to one up it. And you show it to me. I'm going, can I just talk about anything without getting one upped every time I bring it up?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to. I just get excited and show and tell. And
now I'm just waiting. Okay, Chris, what kind of day do you need to have to crack open that original Coke and have it with the Motorhead rum as a drink?
That never gonna
Does it
happen.
be a good day or a bad day? And what kind of day are we looking at?
There would be no possible kind of day just because of the principle and where that bottle came from. And
I mean, not even on your deathbed, you
Nope.
wouldn't drink. Just so
Nope.
you could say,
Nope.
I did this before I died.
oh, I've had original Coke before.
Well, no, Coke and rum in that combination. Motorhead.
No, we didn't have rum with it. My best friend, his grandma was the epitome of a hoarder. And when they were cleaning out her house, I mean, she was a weapons freak. Her husband was a Chicago cop for years, World War II, all that stuff. They found live mortars under her bed. They had to have the bomb squad come clean a bunch of shit out of the house, and they took it out to the dump and blew it off and had a heyday with it. And because you know they were around Chicago in the 30s and 40s and 50s, and then moved out rural to in the 60s, 70s.
Right.
But one of the things that was in the basement was a couple of actual cases of the original Coke from the 30s. And
oh, wow.
And we each had a bottle. It burned like hell. You actually had to just sip it very gently. But it was good.
God, man, I'm
That's one thing I miss about, when I lived up there and just cleaning out old houses and all that shit.
yeah, I don't miss that. I don't miss that at all. I really don't miss that at all. I fight like hell to keep my place clean, and it's just me.
Well, no, when you're cleaning out like, I used to clean out houses and apartments and stuff like that, and you're just basically bringing up a dumpster and taking everything that you don't find cool and want to keep, just tossing it in.
And I could, I don't want anybody else's shit.
Oh, no, dude. When I lived up in Iowa, we did an eviction, and I got 2 turntables, real nice turntables. I got a full DJ booth out of cleaning out this apartment.
But you know how I am. I'm like, I will buy my own stuff. I will get what I want. And that way I'm not questioning what I've got. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm kind of with Chris on this, especially if I'm putting in the work to clean out someone's house. If there's something cool in it that I find interesting, it's not going to waste.
Oh, dude. And a lot of when I did it up in Iowa, a lot of the evictions we did were mostly crackheads. I mean, I got a full DJ booth. I had got a snap-on tool set. My brother, he ended up with a badass aquarium. I'm not talking a fish tank. I'm talking an aquarium.
Again, I'm just like, look, I want to set up my outbuilding that's going to have my permanent studio in it. But I primarily live in I live in my coach, and that's where I want to be.
TJ's going to have the first coach with add-ons.
No. No.
Why not build like a little add-on, but to where you can just pull the coach away?
That's already been done. But no, I'm going to have my office, my building, and literally I lock the door, I pull the slides in, I hook everything up, and I leave. And that's what I want. I want to be I miss traveling. And once the kids are grown, I want to be 100% legitimately mobile. I don't want to be tied down.
Well, yeah, in order to do that, you kind of have to be a minimalist in order to make it easy.
You got it.
So you know what you need to live. That's all you're hauling.
That's
minus a few minor things.
I've got a couple of things that would be like, they are they're things that I want to have with me that I enjoy. I'd take the motorcycle, take the car, make sure I've got my tools in case I've got to repair something.
Well, yeah. That's when you just get the toy hauler to pull behind the RV.
Well, I put together the trailer. And the car and the motorcycle and the tools and everything will be in the trailer. That's it. I'm done. I got everything I need.
And whenever you ride the bike, a cable won't break.
When I ride the bike, my cables don't break anyway.
No, Chris, we're pretty sure that's just you.
Hey, I basically it was a free Harley from my brother and my dad. I kind of knew what I was getting into.
Yeah.
Frankenbike?
Yeah. Franken Harley.
But I mean, I'm telling you, just like there are places I want to trailer it up there. But I want to get up to Alaska with the Harley in the summer and go ride in Alaska.
That'd be cool.
I fully intend to go riding around it. I want to ride the bike out to the Malibu Hills in Southern California and then hike my way back into where the 4077 is at. And just go visit what's left of the site of the set for MASH.
So we're having TJ visit the holy sites now.
Absolutely.
and it sounds kind of morbid, but I really would like to visit Spawn Ranch. And that's one thing I say that really sucks, because I was in California. I was in LA in 2007. But the girl I was with never wanted to do any kind of shit.
Right.
And I'm like, hey, we went down Rodeo Drive, and I actually bumped into Jim Carrey, one of the coolest experiences out there. But I told old girl, hey, let's go to the Whiskey, let's go to the Rainbow, let's go to Spawn Ranch. We did go up to the Hollywood sign. That was cool, but there's so much other cool shit out there I wanted to see.
Yeah, I'd like to. Well, I mean, I would like to go to the. I'd like to go to the. I want to go to the building that the girl jumped off of in Lethal Weapon.
Nakatomi Tower?
No, that was not Nakatomi Tower.
Oh no, that was Die Hard.
That was, yes, Nakatomi Tower, and I do want to see Nakatomi Tower, but that was Die Hard. That's in Century City.
I do have a hookup for locations for Back to the Future.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'd love to go to Lone Star Mall or Lone Tree Mall, Lone
Pine Mall.
Yeah, I'd find it eventually.
No, I have. I know where the courthouse was, and
Great.
Where they did the dance.
Oh, the high school.
Yeah. It's actually, I think it's a church or something, but the guy I was talking to, he's like, yeah, but when you go in there and you're in that stairwell, you know what stairwell you're in.
Yeah. What about when you get into the gym?
Oh, yeah. He's like, yeah, it's, where you're at. It's the same as it was in the movie.
No shit.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Like still all decorated and shit?
Oh, not all decorated,
Oh.
but you walk in and they actually do have like back to the 80s parties there. The guy I know, he plays with a band called the Flux Capacitors.
Oh my God.
Dude,
my
no,
God.
it's awesome. I love this guy.
But no, you know what I'm saying is like there's so much that's there that I would go see in LA. I want to ride the bike into New York City.
New York City was awesome when I got to be there.
The only city in the United States that I'm actually scared of, and I do not want to drive anywhere near New York City.
Really? Why?
Too much.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. But I want to ride down to the Twin Towers site. I mean, I've already rode the bike to this very, very, very extremely important, should be a national monument place in Texas. I've already rode it to LaGrange. I've already went down to the ruins where the chicken ranch was at on the motorcycle.
Chicken Shack.
Huh?
The Chicken Shack.
Yup.
See,
It was a chicken ranch.
I'll tell you what, I'm starting to. I go so many places in the car, and as I'm going in the car, I'm thinking, man, this would be fucking awesome on the bike.
Thank you. Polar Nights is in here, says, love this show is the perfect evolution of beard growth. Yeah,
TJ clean. Adam got a little scruff, and then here I am just.
Yeah, you're looking like a leftover Viking.
We ain't left over. We're still here.
Okay, a pickled Viking. That a little better?
Yeah, more stoned. I haven't drank enough alcohol in my life to be considered pickled.
He's a
I'm not,
slow-
Keith, I'm not Keith Richards.
Oh God, Keith Richards.
That's why
Keith
he ain't
Richards is
dead.
gonna
He's tickled.
Keith Richards is gonna survive the apocalypse and then smoke the cockroaches. I mean, I swear that's gonna be what happens. But no, I do want to. I want to ride it down to the side of the Twin Towers. I would love to ride the bike into Philly and ride down to Mickey's gym on the motorcycle.
No, you don't. Me and my wife, we're planning an East Coast trip because there's
Okay.
a lot of shit I want to see. And our trip is going to start just north of Salem, Massachusetts. I really wouldn't mind actually starting the trip in Maine and then just going all down the coast.
Yeah.
But where Mickey's gym is and
Uh-huh.
where Independence Hall is, they're basically dope neighborhoods.
I didn't say I was going to let anybody live if they touch my bike.
Yeah, well, if you're going to go past them, do not stop and don't stop.
I mean,
Even if you get pulled over by the police, just keep going. They'll know you're trying to get the fuck out of there.
all right. So here we are. Here's another town I want to go through and I want to check out, and that's Bremen, Maine. Now, there's a reason why I want to go to Bremen, Maine. Do you know what it is?
I don't.
Northernmost city in the continental United States?
No.
No. Okay.
Do you know why? It's actually a good pop quiz. Do you know why?
So, is it supposed to be Crabapple Cove from?
Wait,
It was based off of. That is the town that Crabapple Cove, Maine, was based off of, which was Hawkeye Pierce's hometown in the TV show MASH.
Oh, okay.
Pure guess. Had no idea. I'm just
Yes,
like,
that's exactly
why not?
why I want to go there.
Bremen, Maine?
Bremen, Maine.
And it's a coastal town.
Yeah, it's a small town on Muscongas Bay and the Gulf of Maine, known for its fishing, farming, tourism, clamming, and lobstering. And me, you know, I love doing surgery on a lobster's thermidor. It's delicioso.
No, I got a buddy that lives northwest of Bangkok or Bangor.
I was going to say, I don't think we've got a Bangkok in Illinois
No, Bangor.
or a name.
or in the United States. There might be a Bangkok, Illinois, actually. I wonder if there is.
Yeah, it's at the governor's mansion.
Oh.
Really, I thought it was on the north side.
I thought it was on the south end.
Could be a little all three.
Yeah, it could be a little bit of
Where is which neighborhood is it in Chicago that used to be called the Gayborhood?
The north side, Boys Town.
Was it? Oh, Boys Town. Shit. Okay.
Come on, where are you at, man?
I'm in Texas where I don't have to think about that crap anymore.
I don't have to either, but dude, my brain still reverts to. I sit here and just randomly start singing the Empire jingle.
Oh God. No. No, I don't want to live through that again.
580 to 300 Empire. Call for
Oh,
Windows
God.
inside
It's been almost 15 years since I heard that. And now it just got drilled back into my head.
No, it doesn't take much. It's catchy.
It's not catchy. It's annoying.
The most annoying things are catchy.
Well, yeah, you can't argue that.
That's why they're fucking annoying.
Yeah. But no, there's a lot of places I'd want to go and I want to visit and things that I want to do. But going back to point, I can't be a hoarder and have a house full of crap if I'm going to go do this stuff.
Well, see, that's why, I mean, we got this stuff planned, but we're going to have our house to come home to.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm in my home right now.
I'm sure I could fit my guitars and shit into a.
I mean, you take a look here. I know I haven't done this before. Like, yeah, I know I need to clean up my kitchen a little bit. But then you look. That is literally, you can see I'm doing work around here, but that's my living room.
Where do you do your calisthenics and your workout videos?
I don't anymore.
You gotta have room for activities.
No, I do not.
I mean, straight up, here's the studio.
I have outside.
Crap everywhere. Right behind me, I actually have an art easel. I paint. Bunch of guitars on the wall. There's a pile of 4 or 5 guitars in that corner. Slot machine. My room is built for activities.
And he's got a path this wide to get through.
Yeah.
No, I actually have a pretty good path, decent path to get to the front door or the kitchen.
But that's it. It's the 2 places you could go, the front door or the kitchen.
No, there ain't no other place. I mean, there's plenty of room. I got 2 couches. I sit in my chair.
I mean, you know what I'm saying, though, is like, I've got the bathroom right behind me. Then behind that is my bedroom. This is actually a 3-room coach.
Well, if I sit like this, bathroom.
But like
I'm not even going to show you guys where I'm at. I'm in a garage. Okay,
I know a guy that lived in a garage once.
That's the space I have. It's like you kind of see a chair over there. You see a plug-in back there. Those 2 are spots allotted to me. The rest of the garage is taken up by crap.
If I wasn't worried about it falling through the floor, this room would be a garage with the Harley parked right behind me.
No, like I said, I knew a guy that lived in a garage, or I know a guy that lived in a garage once. And the thing that he loved to bring over to that garage was his dirty whores.
I've actually seriously have thought about bringing the bike into the house, and I had it on the front porch, and then I went underneath the house and saw how bad it is underneath there, and yeah, we ain't gonna. Nope.
Man, I'll tell you, it's just. So tomorrow. Oh man, I'm not looking forward to this tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Saturday.
Tomorrow is Saturday, and it is Texas Longhorns versus the number 5 Georgia Bulldogs.
Ooh.
So have
That's
you and
gonna,
Irene
now that's going to be a game for you guys.
That's a game.
You and Irene need to touch base and see if you guys can get a bet going. See who's
No.
No.
Today is still Friday. And
Yes.
we have some really cool rock and roll birthdays today.
No, let's hear it.
Okay.
The King.
Elvis.
No.
Oh.
And here's where I will throw down with a lot of people. Elvis is the king of marketing and merchandising.
Lemmy.
Chuck Berry
Oh, Chuck Berry.
was the
Chuck
king.
Berry also pooped on people.
No, he
Throwback
didn't.
To,
That was never proven.
Back to the Future. There you go.
But he was born on this day in 1926. Gary Rickrath from REO Speedwagon, Joe Egan from Steelers Wheel, and Keith Knudsen, the drummer for the Doobie Brothers, were all born on this day. And I say Chuck Berry is the king of rock and roll because if it weren't for Chuck Berry, we wouldn't have rock and roll as we know it today. And up until the day he died, Chuck Berry owned all of his shit.
Oh, good for him.
He was one of the first bands, one of the first people to sue a band for plagiarism, which just so happened to be the Beach Boys. Surfin' Safari was the sheet music for Chuck Berry's Sweet Little 16.
No kidding.
Yep.
Wow.
So, in my personal opinion, and I will fight to the death over it, Chuck Berry's the king of rock and roll.
But I will go that Chuck Berry's got a darker side to him, too.
Everybody in every...
But it's barely
Everybody
ever
does.
brought up. All right, so he was arrested. Let's see here. He was arrested in 1959 and charged with taking a 14-year-old girl across state lines for immoral purposes.
What state was that in?
That was... it doesn't say.
That so happened to happen in the state of Mississippi.
Kind of thought that might have been the case.
The girl was not underage. It was all legal for the time period. The only problem was she was white.
I was kind of wondering if that's where that was going.
But he spent 2 years in prison for it.
He spent 2 years in prison for messing with a white girl.
Let's see.
He was the first person to integrate races within rock and roll.
He owned a restaurant called Southern Air in the 1980s and was found guilty of installing a camera in the women's toilet and keeping videotapes of customers and staff members. Oh, God.
I never heard about that.
Yeah, that's right.
I do know Chuck Berry was a pervert.
I'm reading this in an article right here from a magazine right now.
You see, Chuck Berry
eventually a former cook.
Everyone else did.
Eventually a former cook came forward with the allegations, and a police search found several different videotapes in his home. And he was also he also got hit with a class action lawsuit from 59 different women. So that was his two big arrests.
Well, speaking of big arrest, on this day, let me double check the year because it was in the 70s, I think, late 60s. John Lennon and Yoko. Oh, yep. 1968. John and Yoko were taken to Paddington Green Police Station and charged with obstruction after some weed was discovered at their apartment that they were staying in. Lennon pleaded guilty the following month and was fined 150 pounds, equal to $240 US.
Good Lord.
Some expensive weed.
Chuck Berry was, according to Madhouse magazine, Chuck Berry was also treated for PTSD after hearing Yoko sing.
Oh, I think everyone needed a little bit of therapy after that.
Yeah.
But you know, I actually recently learned a few things about the Beatles that I never knew.
Yeah.
Because, they always looked real clean cut on the albums, in the media, everything.
In the early years, yes.
The Beatles were some party hard motherfuckers. They didn't. The image I see of the Beatles does not fit the image of where they're from in Liverpool.
No.
Like they were from a really, really rough neighborhood.
But the stories of the partying that the Beatles did during all of that, you got to remember the Beatles, we're talking the 60s.
Oh yeah.
The renaissance of the sexual revolution. And when you look at that and then what the Beatles did, knowing the time they were in, no. The clean cut image of the early albums was a front. It was bullshit. That changed with Sgt. Pepper's, and all you got to do is listen to the album and you know they turned it on.
Oh yeah. Well, and then they broke up and John grew his hair out, and so did, they all really did.
They really all just kind of, fuck it. They went with it, But they were starting to, when Sgt. Pepper's came out, if you noticed. Like, they were all starting to kind of get a little more towards the look towards the times. They were growing their hair, and they were starting to really step out. But I mean,
Can I say the only one that made any good music after the Beatles was Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney. Yeah.
I mean, if you listen to the stuff that John and Yoko did, I have an album around here somewhere called The Pope Smokes Dope.
Oh, God.
And it's all John and Yoko. And yeah, it fucking sucks.
Yeah, like I said,
but I mean, after the Beatles, George Harrison had one song that was on pop radio and it was annoying as fuck.
Yeah, right. Ringo did
McCartney,
nothing.
I mean, he's still going.
Yeah, Paul McCartney did great, but I don't know how many people I've looked at and said, "You're breaking up the band, Yoko."
Every time a band breaks up, that would suck to be such a shitty person that when a band breaks up, your name gets referenced. You just got Yoko'd.
Dude, no, seriously. Let's face it. I mean, if Yoko had came along and the Beatles continued, you are talking one of the single most influential rock bands of all time, if not the most influential band of all time.
Yeah.
I don't think Yoko and John could have stayed together and the Beatles could have stayed together.
No, I'm saying it couldn't have happened. So
Yeah,
if Yoko left, the Beatles stayed together.
John Lennon would have released some great music afterwards. Wings probably never would have happened.
True.
But I think Paul McCartney still would have written the songs.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul McCartney is an amazing songwriter.
Yeah. But let's face it, him and Lennon together. Wow.
A revolution it was.
That it was. That it was. And I'm kind of waiting for the old lady to finally get down here so I can experience something better than a revolution. I can experience a sexual renaissance.
Stimulation?
I'm thinking a sexual renaissance.
Like an erection, an ejaculation.
30 seconds later. So what do you want for dinner?
Boy, you're giving me credit at 30 seconds. I was thinking more like 10.
8. You're in Texas.
Yeah, pump and dump. Go for 8 seconds,
Ride it like a bull. There you go.
I'll just lean down and whisper in her ear, your sister was better.
And hold on.
Yeah.
I shouldn't. I actually should not be even making that joke right now because her sister has no. I actually got a call this afternoon. I laid down. With everything going on with my family, I went out and I tied one on today.
I'll be right back.
And as I was laying down to get a nap this evening before the show, and my girlfriend let me know that her sister has come up missing.
Okay.
And now they're doing everything they can to track her down. And I have not heard one way or the other yet. To let me know.
Yeah. Maybe shooting her a message. It's like, any news? Any new news?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I just got a text from Squirrel. She's like, I'm writing down my history now. We were interesting people. I'm like, yeah, I know we were. God, what happened to us? We got old. We got fucking boring. But we're both sitting there like, yeah, we were pretty interesting back in the day. This is kind of cool, you know?
Yeah.
So much as I hate to do this to Chris, I've got to.
Uh-oh.
I think you know what's getting ready to happen.
What are you going to do?
This. I'm looking at the time. We've been on for over 2 hours.
Holy
Yeah?
shit.
Which is normal for us, but Chris, your final thoughts tonight.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know me. I always support live, local, independent bands. With all the stuff I have on the walls, I got the signed Megadeth, the signed Vince Neil guitar, but we also have bands like Prison City Brigade, Roses Unread, independent bands that definitely need your support. And that's what Asgard Radio is all about, is trying to support those independent bands. So help us help them in any way you can. You can contact me. You can contact Slider. Hit us up on the website. And just let us know you're there to support us. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, always watch for motorcycles. Be safe out there. And I love you fuckers.
That's one way of wording it. Adam, your final thoughts tonight.
Say what's on top.
Regarding everything that's gone on, I think my final thought is cherish your friends and family. You never know what's going to happen. I'm sure TJ can relate. Be good to your friends. If something bad happens in your family, stick together. There's no reason to separate. Just be friendly. You can forgive and stuff. And be there for each other, whether friend or family.
Very well stated.
Let's say you want to go for another hour, because I got family I try to contact that just for some reason won't talk to me.
I'd rather not. We've got Sunday. Sunday night, 6 p.m. We will be back on the air. Well, actually, Sunday, we moved it to Sunday night at 5. So Sunday night at 5, we're back on with an edition of Mayhem's Amigos. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Again, I sincerely apologize for what happened last night and my family having this emergency with my uncle and finding out that we are getting ready to lose him. And it did require my attention, where I had to stop the show to be able to pay attention to what was going on because I was working at the same time. Go figure, right? I want to, of course, I want to thank everybody for being so supportive and understanding with that. Please spread the word. We're here. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, working on getting TikTok and Instagram going as well. Thank you for tuning in. I am TJ. That's Adam. That's the Chronic One, Chris. This has been Amigos After Dark, the Makeup Edition. We will see you Sunday at 5 p.m. Good night, everybody.
Smoke them if you got them.